Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, WWE has released Samoa Joe for the second time this year.
The real reason WWE did release Samoa Joe.
Walter is leaving NXT UK.
And an update on when WWE are heading back to Saudi Arabia. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Andy Murray.
And this is the news.
Alright, we're going to kick things off with the latest WWE release, which came about last night. It is Samoa Joe. He's gone from the company. It's the second time this year, of course, that he's been released by WWE. But yeah, came through last night. The story, Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp confirming it. Samoa Joe has since tweeted the following: extremely fortunate and grateful to all the young and amazing talent I had the pleasure of working with in the past months. Only saddened at the loss of an excuse to see their continued growth and achievement. I am very excited for the future and mine. So, what a turbulent couple of years this guy's had, right? Injuries, the concussion suffered
on an advert,
filming,
wasn't he?
taking a table bump on a commercial. He had a wellness policy thing as well. He had to sit on commentary, and he did a good job.
It was great, yeah.
Him in the poncho at WrestleMania highlights.
And no, my highlight was, it's out.
Yeah.
With the eye stuff.
Yeah.
An eye for an eye. It's out.
And of course, I'm full of crap because he hasn't been released twice this year. He was released in, it's 2022 now, but, within the past 12 months, he was released in April, brought back to NXT, enforcer for William Regal, wins the title, vacates the title due to injury, buggers off again, working as a scout behind the scene. Now he's gone. This is, of course, part of the wider revamp into what's going on with NXT, and hey, we know the reason for this.
Yeah,
as well.
Exactly. To segue into that, and you can probably guess, considering the real reason that we gave yesterday for the other mass releases in terms of, Road Dogg, William Regal, etc. According to Fightful Select, again, no crap, just Sapp, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select. The real reason he has been released is it's another part of them dismantling Triple H's stranglehold, let's say, on NXT. The same reason, as I said, that the other guys were released. There was a genuine belief backstage that when Regal went, Joe wasn't going to be far behind him. He actually was released on Wednesdays, just the news has only come out late last night here in the UK. I'm simultaneously surprised and not surprised by this release, Andy. Like you say, it's been a tumultuous few years for him. But then again, it's Samoa Joe, Andy. I'm still astonished to this day that they never put a main roster world title on him. When they did that, what was it, like 5 people having a pop at Brock Lesnar or 4?
That was
maybe?
really great. The Brock feud itself was really good as well.
And then they just went, we'll give you maybe a couple of runs with the US title, and then we'll, you've really dedicated yourself at WrestleMania, and got us through that bit where we couldn't do anything for half an hour, so we're going to have to let you go.
Yeah.
Then we'll bring you back to be the only guy who feasibly could take the title off Karrion Kross, and then, cool, thanks, and then scouting stuff, etc.
See you later.
Hopefully he will return to the ring if he's, his body allows, wherever he goes next, because like I said, it's Samoa Joe. Yeah,
exactly. And there's some additional stuff in the Fightful Select write-up stating that people believe he's going to return to the ring, so that's cool. Yeah. That's cool. We've been through this before, haven't we? It's the same every time. It really sucks for the people involved. Obviously, whoever's pulling the strings at NXT now, Vince, didn't see Samoa Joe as part of the 2.0 vision, not even as a scout, which is...
Yeah, what can he offer to guys like Bron Breakker?
Yeah. What wisdom could Samoa Joe possibly impart to a young, impressionable rookie? He's going to be another promotion's benefit for sure. Like, he's fantastic at what he does. Maybe he's not quite the physical force he used to be, but it's understandable. He's getting old. He's still pretty awesome, and I'm sure he's got a lot in that old noggin he can pass on to younger folks as well. So, it sucks for Joe. Twice in a year, Jesus, man. Imagine having to take that on the chin. What a pro.
This may well be genuinely good for fans of Joe, like you say. He's not going to be back, I don't think, wrestling on a regular basis, but as a, surprise, not necessarily surprise, but like a special attraction, he'd be perfect. And like you say, him and Regal, like the amount of knowledge they can pass on to up and coming wrestlers, you really should just put them in a developmental brand, and they could really help.
Yeah, that's almost like that's a good idea. But best luck to Samoa Joe.
Good luck, mate.
He's great. We love him. Let's move on. Let's talk about Walter. He's done. with NXT UK.
Oh, thank goodness.
He's moving to NXT full-time. Going to become a full-time performer on the American brand. This was announced during NXT's UK's episode last night. He's having one last match. He asked one last match. That's the kayfabe thing they're going with. He wanted one final battle or whatever. And general manager Johnny Saint has booked him against Nathan Fraser for next week. The former Ben Carter, of course, with his new creator wrestler name, the poor fella. But yeah, I'm sure that'll be a really cool match to send Walter away on. Then he's moving over to the US. Of course, he was on New Year's Evil this week. Fun little trios match, Imperium versus MSK and Matt Riddle. It's something that Walter has been quite reticent towards in the past. He's said previously that he didn't want to move to America and be full-time, but in recent months we've heard these reports of like changing circumstances in his personal life that we won't dive into here.
And probably WWE throwing a hell of a lot of money at him.
I'd imagine so as well. But hey, this is cool, man. I think Walter is one of the best wrestlers in the world. Doesn't wrestle all that often. I'd like to see him wrestle a little bit more, some big-time singles matches. This could be really cool.
We are, whisper it, one step closer to Walter versus Brock Lesnar, aren't we?
Oh, brother.
I mean, it's a long shot. I know he's only in NXT now, but that's a lot closer than he was wrestling over in the UK.
Yeah. Brock ain't coming to the UK.
Brock is barely getting out of bed a lot of the time.
Imagine Brock in that BT Sports studio.
Bumping into Jake Humphrey. Hello, mate. But yeah, I think this is fantastic news for fans of WWE and NXT in particular. I think he's probably in some of the best shape I've ever seen him in.
He's
now.
in really good shape.
We all saw the photos that did the rounds, and then actually seeing him work in the ring. Look, like you say, you can put him in there with almost anyone. Think about what he produced with Ilya Dragunov in an empty NXT UK studio the first time, and then subsequently, of course, at TakeOver. I'm really excited. I hope that this is a brief stepping stone to the main roster, because I just feel like 2.0 is a weird fit for him, and I hope they don't just bring him in to be like, make Braun Breaker look good.
It's all weird, isn't it? It's all weird. NXT 2.0 is weird, and the main roster, if you're not Roman Reigns, you're probably not going to be booked consistently for like longer than a year.
Walter's brief appearance on the main roster at Survivor Series doesn't inspire me, but hopefully someone will have gone, I know Vince, he doesn't look the way that you like people to look, but look what he did to Ilya Dragunov and a lot of other people in NXT UK. Yeah. So how about just have him be someone a little bit different there?
Just have him be good.
I don't want him wrestling on a weekly basis.
No,
I don't want him
doing
week. But I want him to do wrestling on a monthly basis. There we go.
Keep it special. But a little bit more than last year.
And let us know in the comments who you'd like to see him face in NXT and on the main roster. For me, first match, Dominic Mysterio. Right, final story for you is WWE heading back to Saudi Arabia. No great surprise. This, me and Andrew were actually talking about this in the office the other day. We were looking at the what they call premium live event schedule now.
Yes.
For WWE. And obviously there's the Rumble on, I think, the 29th of last weekend in January. And then there's just a big old gap till WrestleMania, and you suggested there's probably going to be heading back to Saudi Arabia in February. That is the case, according to Andrew Zarian of the brilliant Madman Pro Wrestling podcast. They are going back to Saudi Arabia on the 19th of February. Key thing to note with this one, though, that is a Saturday night, or for us, Ambassador, you're spoiling us, isn't that a Saturday afternoon?
Saturday afternoon, yeah.
Oh, yes, please!
So we changed it.
I get it. I realise I'm putting to one side quite a lot of the issues with them going to Saudi Arabia, but not to dismiss all that. Oh, that's terrible, right? But it's nice
from a travel standpoint.
From a UK viewer point of view, them going to Saudi Arabia to an extent is okay. I think I've covered that basically there. It's a Saturday though, which clears up a lot of the travel issues. Obviously, normally the Saudi Arabia shows were going down on Thursdays, and they were like, cool, got to write the show because we've got to get on a plane to literally just make it back in time for SmackDown. We all know about the issues they had when they were stuck on the tarmac that one time. But Andy Murray back to Saudi Arabia on the 19th of February. It gives them less time to screw up WrestleMania stuff, I suppose. It's pretty soon after the Royal Rumble.
It also, like you said, it eliminates the chances of them getting stuck on the tarmac for 6 hours when they have a SmackDown show to get to, because they just had to run another one of these ridiculous big money propaganda shows.
Normalise Saturday pay-per-views.
Normalise none of these pay-per-views.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah,
I'm not sorry either. Like people get upset when you point out these issues with these shows, but it's a literal propaganda show. What do you want us to
exactly.
say?
Should we move on to the Twitter questions?
Please.
At WhatCulture WWE, of course, you want to get in touch with us. Jackie Higgins starts us off saying, "Good morning, legends. With Vince dismantling the old NXT, do you think Shawn Michaels could be next?"
Man, I don't want to speculate on whether or not people might get fired. It's just like, no disrespect, it's just not something I want to do. I don't know. He seems to have assumed quite a prominent role recently, so I'd suggest that he's, probably in a pretty good place, but I don't really want to touch that.
We're never going to sit here and say, certainly when we do the releases, I do not like when people say, oh, so-and-so shouldn't have been released. They should have instead.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about this, the whole podcast that myself and the Dudley Boys went into great detail with these staff releases yesterday, WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcast from. But we did briefly touch on this topic with Triple H's name being mentioned, disregarding the fact that Triple H could make the decision himself to be like, cool, I'm cashing my chips. Bye. I don't think so. I think Shawn Michaels, as much as I sat here and said I thought William Regal was alive, I think Michaels is alive. It's the most bonkers thing they could do is release someone like Shawn, purely just because of the legacy. Yeah. Like, not even necessarily that he will, go and do something spectacular in another show. I just think, even for them, they know that the PR side of things there is pretty dreadful.
Yeah.
And they probably have to rip him out of loads of video packages and stuff that they just love hoying out there. I think worst comes to the worst, even if he's completely removed from NXT, they'll find a job for him.
I think he'll be all right.
Or he can go back to doing Dead Downwind or whatever that hunting show was. I remember his cap when he came back, and I was like, what's going on there, Sean? Anyway, Daniel Murphy gives us our second question of the day, saying, with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus winning the belts on AEW, of course, who do you guys see as their first challengers? Also, can we get a get well for Rey Fenix? Absolutely, Dan. Get well, Rey Fenix. Bit of a relief yesterday. I saw the update that you saw your tweet, in fact, about it. Roman Reigns getting the all clear, and Rey Fenix only having, what was it, a dislocation rather than a break, which is still awful, but not as bad as we first feared.
I've totally forgotten the question. Oh, challengers for Jurassic Express. So, 2 hours or something before we came in here, AEW tweeted that there's going to be a change to the Battle of the Belts card for tomorrow because of a medical protocol.
Okay.
So, sounds to me like something has happened with that card involving one of the participants. That's just me speculating. That's not official. The change will be announced on tonight's episode of Rampage. So, what that says to me is that perhaps one of those title matches can't go ahead, right?
And it's, what is it? Riho versus Britt Baker, Cody versus
Sami. So, something's happened. Whatever. They're going to change something. It's Battle of the Belts. You need another title fight. Speaking about this with Michael Sidgwick, and he came up with this. In the interim, Jurassic Express, FTR replace one of these title matches if one of them gets cancelled, because FTR have just really great chemistry with Jurassic Express, and they're the kind of team you can throw in these situations.
And put the belts on it.
And put the belts. Also, like
4-day reign. Well done.
Dax had that great singles match with Jungle Boy.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So,
yeah,
it'd be cool.
For me, I'd just run it back with the Lucha Bros with Alex Abrahantes replacing Rey Fenix. You can do all this stuff. But let us know your picks in the comments section below. But yeah.
What about Pac? What's he up to? You can throw him in.
Yeah. There we go. Final question today comes from Mimi, who says, hi guys, good to have you back. 3 choices again for you. Love these. More of these in 2022. Which is most likely to happen in 2022, Andy Murray? Triple H in AEW in one form or another, Cody Rhodes challenging for the world title, or one of the 4 horsewomen debuts in AEW?
Cody Rhodes challenges for the world title. I think that would be quite, obviously he's going back on his thing, but would that not be quite in line with his current character?
How long's it been as well? It's been over 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah, 2 and a bit years.
2 years. And it would kind of fit his current direction as well, so people would be upset.
Who wants to see me fight for the world title? No! I heard yes! Yeah, I think out of those 3, it's most like Triple H ain't going to AEW. If he does leave WWE outright,
he's going to GCW.
Oh my God! Can you imagine? And the 4 horsewomen. I'm tempted to say that one perhaps, but if it's WWE, there are a few people that we were talking about. Again, it came up on the podcast yesterday. That are the only few who you're like, nah. No matter how much Nick Khan goes, look at this spreadsheet, look at how high up they are on the wages and stuff. It's like Roman and the 4 horsewomen are the only ones in my head that are like, Nah, you cannot touch
Yeah,
them.
can't
Everyone
touch
else, you never bloody know. Right, let's move on to today's and finally, and a bit of a niche one here, but fans of the UK Apprentice will have noticed someone yesterday just outright stole Bianca Belair's patter, saying he's basically, I am the EST of business. Now, they're all idiots, of course, on The Apprentice, but it is always nice to see a bit of wrestling bleeding into the mainstream. Shout out to Phil Chambers for pointing this one out to me.
This lad doesn't quite have the same delivery, does he? Doesn't quite have the same panache.
Or the hair.
Yeah.
I'd love that. Alan Sugar's about to fire him and he just whips him with his hair.
Right in the eyeball. Take that, Sugar. Yeah, I mean, fair play for trying.
Yeah. Any more examples of the mainstream bleeding into the wrestling? Sorry, bleeding into the mainstream. More of that sort of thing. Point that out and we'll give you a mention. Right, let us know your thoughts on that and all of today's news stories in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. Myself and the Dally Boys sitting down to preview SmackDown, of course, as well as Rampage and the Battle of the Belts this weekend. And we've got WrestleCulture with a hashtag bloody good
Christ, you got a
quiz.
busy day.
Oh, you're telling me. You can follow us all on Twitter at WhatCulture WWE. Watch there. You can follow Andy Murray at
Andy H. Murray. The H stands for haberdashery, which is a cool word, isn't it?
It is very cool.
Yeah. I don't know what it is.
The H also stands for Away the Lads, specifically Chesterfield. We're going to Stamford Bridge and we're going to beat Chelsea this weekend in the FA Cup. Sorry, I just had to get that one in.
Come on. What's the fellow who scored
Kabongo Shamanga.
like 20 goals? Kabongo Shamanga.
So
Legend.
good. Who needs Messi when you've got Kabongo?
That's the
Come
song.
on, you spy rights. Follow me at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. But for now, my thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.
Football.